What's happening, party people? Welcome to Punchboard Party. My name is Daniel, and in this video I'm telling you everything we know about the Goonies Never Say Die. This was a board game that we just found out about on Board Game Geek, coming to us in Q3 of 2021 from Prospero. These guys bring us the new Back to the Future cooperative game that people are raving about. They bring us Horrified. They bring us all the villainous stuff. So Prospero Hall comes with a great pedigree, and they come packing heat. And now they're dealing with a beloved IP from so many people. People love this, and they are going to be so excited that Prospero Hall is dealing with this IP. So what can I tell you about this game? Well, I'm going to tell you that it is a one versus many game. There is going to be the Goonies, and then there is going to be the Goondocks Master, the Game Master, the GM. And it's going to be a situation where there's a board and there's a bunch of rooms and caverns in this underground network. There's going to be 9 adventures that you're going to be playing sequentially, like in the chapters of a book. And the Goonies objective is going to be whatever the adventure dictates. So there's going to be a different objective per adventure. And then for the GM's objective, there's an hourglass, and they're going to try and run that sucker out before the Goonies complete their objective. So how is this all going to play out? How is this all going to work? Well, it's your typical dice chucking skill check situation. There are item cards, and the GM has GM cards and adventure cards that they're going to be able to play on their turn to do certain things to the Goonies to make their life more difficult. There's also foes that the GM is going to be playing out on the map and being able to move them to adjacent rooms and that kind of thing and attack the Goonies. One thing that's really cool about the game is how the dice mechanisms actually work. So each character has dice associated with them for each of the skill checks that you can do. So you're going to do either strength or search or dexterity. There's a D6, there's a D8, and a D10. And so you might have your D6s assigned to your strength check, and your D8s might be your dexterity, and your D10s might be your search. So when you go do a check like that, you're automatically going to get 2 of that type of dice. But then what you can do is you can spend wish tokens, and you can upgrade your dice. So maybe you have 2 D8s and you're doing a strength check. Well, you can spend a wish token and upgrade that sucker up to a D10. And then maybe you want to use another wish token and upgrade your other D8 to a D10. And then what you can do is if you're sharing a room with a Goonie whose strength check allocated dice are D10s, then they can lend you a D10 for 1 wish token, and then you can roll 3 D10s for your strength check. And I think that's really cool. It's neat. It's just a different way of mitigating luck than I've seen in other games like this. Otherwise, what you're doing in the game is pretty standard. So you're either going to move, search, attack, rest, a treasure action. So you might have these treasure cards that have an action on them, and so you have to spend one of your 2 actions to do that action. And then there's adventure actions, and adventure actions are things like clearing rubble or getting unstunned if you were stunned or that kind of thing there. The GM's turn kind of works in 2 phases, where they move all of the foes that are on the board to wherever they would like to, and then they can attack with those foes. And when they attack, of course, they're attacking the Goonies, and then at the end of their turn they're able to play GM cards. And so there's cards that are going to be specific to the adventure that you're playing, and then there's basic GM cards. And these cards are things that just kind of do nasty things to the players, and I think are fairly thematic to the particular adventure that you're playing. Now, like I said before, the GM's objective is to run out this hourglass. So how they do that is the top of the hourglass has these hourglass tokens, and whenever a Goonie runs out of health, they just restore their character because Goonies never say die. And then you move this hourglass token to the bottom of the hourglass, signifying the sand getting filled up at the bottom of the hourglass. The other way to run out the hourglass for the GM is the end is nigh dice roll that they do at the end of their turn. So they take 3 D6s, and then using GM tokens, they can upgrade dice just like the Goonies can with wish tokens. And then they roll, and if they get 2 successes, they move another hourglass token to the bottom of the hourglass. And so that's how they can continue to progress the game. One thing that I'm totally encouraged by is that this is Prospero Hall. These guys knock it out of the park all the time with these IPs and these style of games especially. So what I'm really excited to see is how the theme really seeps through this game, through the card play, through the GM's cards, the adventure cards. I can really see the theme coming through, and someone who loves the Goonies really enjoying this play, especially since they're going through the effort of making 9 different adventures. I'm sure they're gonna make them distinct and have the cards really play into the flavor of those adventures and how the theme comes through. Because I can only think of Disney Villainous and how well the theme comes through with just a simple deck of cards. And so I think while the mechanics are seemingly vanilla, the cards and the theming on the cards and the different adventures that you're gonna play are really going to bring this game to life in amazing ways, or at least that's my hope. 2 more things I want to know before I go. There's some conversation about there's an octopus in this game as well as the boss foes, and people were saying online, where'd the octopus come from? And I don't remember that being in the movie. Well, apparently there's a deleted scene where they encounter an octopus, but it's really poorly done, so they left it out of the movie. But there's some versions of the movie that kept it in when they were showing it on cable, so some people have seen it. And there was a video game that was being made at the same time before the movie was released, and so they have the octopus in the video game, which is really interesting. So now the board game is keeping the octopus alive, baby. Other thing is there is kind of a big complaint around non-playable female characters in this game. And the female characters that are in the movie are considered teenagers, and they kind of just show up as help cards in certain situations when you need a little extra help. So people are mad about that, and I can see that. But you know what? We're just gonna have to give this a play for ourselves and see how it stands up over time. But let me know again what you were thinking about this, and until next time, party people, have the best day.